Hello, I'm the Angry Spork. This year has seen us look at some of the more infamous works of writer Chuck Austen, like Holy War and The Draco. But hey, writers can be better with some characters than others, so let's see how he did years earlier for Marvel's main competitor. I'm taking issue with Action Comics number 814, when Mr. Austen began on the title with artists Ivan Reis, Mark Campos, and Guy Major. Let's see if this comic makes us want to turn the page, or turn our heads. The cover is pretty good. Soup's lifting up Calabac while surrounded by parademons, and smoke rising from battle in the background. A new era begins here. Superman versus the hordes of Apocalypse. The epic Connect 4 tournament, exclusively on pay-per-view. We begin inside a train where Clark is on the phone with Lois, who's kind of in a rush, and hangs up before he can say he loves her, much to his disappointment. When a trio of gunmen orders everyone to put their hands up and not cause trouble, his mood seems to improve a bit, smiling as he gets up, adjusts his necktie, and says he's not looking to make trouble, which leads one of the goons to shove him through the window of the speeding train, many stories above the street.
No ticket.
That guy counts straightening ties as a form of troublemaking. He just really hates business attire. As he does the classic shirt reveal in the air, the goon that shoved him stammers a bit, insisting that everyone fork over their money lest they end up like that idiot guy. That's when Superman appears, still smirking as he berates him for his terrible grammar. I wonder if he maybe kind of pushed himself out that train window as a means of changing into his suit, and the thug didn't really mean to do it. Maybe that's why he was stammering, using a lot of likes and you knows, and if so, that's cleverly subtle. Though I could be way off, because a fellow thief has a lot of filler in his sentence, as he suggests surrendering, leading our hero to cheekily mimic his speech pattern. Dude, that's, like, a great idea. Though he didn't point out Green Cap's contextual error, since he said, unless others don't want to end up like Clark, which would mean giving over their money would get them tossed out. Ha! I've beaten Superman at technical errors. Take that, Lex Luthor. Then the we should give up guy suggests that maybe the most powerful, most famous superhero on Earth being bulletproof is a myth, and Soups jokes that it's been field tested. I get Consumer Reports' highest rating. What, nothing? Not even a chuckle? Now I'm beginning to regret reserving time at the Metropolis Comedy Hut this weekend. Green Cap threatens to try his luck anyway, only to get a single nice warning from the Kryptonian, that if he fires and anyone is hurt by a ricochet, even so much as a wind burn, that gun will get a guided tour of the man's intestines. That was him saying it nicely? Are we sure this isn't really Jason Todd in a very convincing Superman mask? When the guy instead threatens to shoot someone more directly, Soups flies him out the window, to the other crook's terror. When Big Blue returns, they immediately give up, not wanting to be killed like their buddy Ricky. Hey, Ricky, you're so dead, it hurts my head, hey, Ricky. Hey, Ricky. Now, of course, he's far less than 6 feet under, more partially buried in a pile of dirt on a loading truck. Afterward, Clark arrives at the Daily Planet, for the first time in a while. He'd spent the previous year as a freelance reporter, traveling the globe and writing a book on President Luthor's corruption. And now that he's back, his cubicle belongs to some new guy. Office manager Julio says he doesn't know why that is, and tells him to talk to Perry White. But when Kent tries, he gets told by Secretary Grace to, you guessed it, talk to Julio. Maybe if you threaten to force someone to eat their own desk lamp, then you'll get some answers. When told that Julio said to talk to Perry, Grace says he's currently in a meeting, so Clark should come back in an hour. After waiting a bit outside Perry's door, he decides to spend some time patrolling Metropolis in the old red and blue. When a mother is so distracted from driving to stop her kids from fighting that she drives off the overpass, he catches their car. He pops back in to check with Perry, who will usually see him any time, but Grace tells him he's super busy today, and he'll have to wait another hour. He's stuck waiting again, since he can't do any work without an assignment. In the meantime, you could always write up an interview with Superman about his disdain for criminals with poor grammar. By the look of that clock in the background, it seems several hours have passed, from nearly 2 o'clock to almost 6, possibly closing time given the dialogue from a coworker about grabbing dinner, so he's back out as Superman, grousing something fierce.
Oh, okay. Then I guess just pout.
He hears a distinctive explosion in the distance, a boom tube opening on a 2-page spread with the arrival of Calabac, other apocalyptian generals, and an army of parademons who waste no time wrecking things and attacking people.
Find him now! This advertisement on my tablet claims a Doug, age 32, is in this area wanting to hook up, meaning he must want to be strung up by a meat hook.
Soups flies in, decking Calabac, and reminding him that he didn't want his master or his forces anywhere near his planet. Steppenwolf takes the opportunity to attack from behind with a blade, but it's quite ineffective.
Steppenwolf? Hello? Indestructible?
Clark's been watching a lot of Friends lately, and is convinced he's totally a Chandler Bing. As he clarifies his name means super, better than they are, and man, get off his planet, he wraps Calabac up in a totaled car, just as Darkseid makes an appearance in a second boom tube. After his son is tossed past him into the portal, the despot clarifies he sent his forces to Earth in search of Doomsday, the monster who famously killed Superman in the 90s. See, a couple years before this story, Soups had faced the monster again and defeated him, and noticed he'd become more intelligent, able to speak and all, so after subduing him, handed him over to the DEO, only for then-President Luthor to hand the monster over to Darkseid to repay certain debts. Turns out Apocalypse does not accept Venmo. Darkseid refuses to take any blame for the creature getting loose, rather some underlings tasked with training Doomsday to be the ultimate weapon, and they've since been killed for their failure. Typical upper management move. When the trainers had started fostering his intellect, the only skill he was lacking in, Doomsday eventually figured he was smart enough to defeat Superman, then boom-tubed to some unknown location to eventually make his way to Metropolis, since going there directly would have been noticed by the Boy Scouts' super hearing. Should Kal-El defeat the creature again, Darkseid wants him returned. Superman repeats that he wants the Warlord to stay away from Earth, but the villain doesn't like being ordered where to go or not go. So, to make his point even clearer, Superman slugs Darkseid, because of course he would dare to do so. Real smart move there, Clark. Maybe Darkseid will be so humbled by this, he'll only vaporize half the city in retribution. Clark zips around, collecting all the minions together into a ball, Katamari Damacy style, then throws them through Darkseid's tube, who promises to kill him for that assault, but hey, been there, done that. I guess this very benign point that closes the wormhole was more powerful than it seems, because Soups is lying on top of a wrecked car, like it got knocked down by something, while he bemoans Doomsday is on the loose again. Back at the planet, Lois confronts Perry about not telling Clark that he's been demoted, something half the staff already knows, and that she doesn't feel comfortable keeping from her husband. Perry promises to tell him the next day, and that everyone knows he's the one to break the news to Clark, so asks Lane to keep it to herself for now.
Besides, he knows the rules around here. Leave your lunch in the communal fridge for more than 2 weeks, you get a demotion.
When Clark gets home, he's on the phone with Lois again, who apologizes that she won't be making it to dinner, since she has more work stuff to do. He understands, asking how her day was, and per Perry's request, doesn't mention anything about his work status, only that nothing really interesting happened. She asks what he did today, and the comic ends as he cites the story's title, saying it was another day at the office. That was Action Comics number 814, and I've got mixed feelings about it. In many ways, it feels like a very good starting point. After some time away, Clark is trying to reintegrate back to his old job, but finds some obstacles. People at work are being obtuse, and his own wife seems too busy to talk for very long or even see him, which could make him feel isolated, lost in what should be familiar. A good, down-to-earth concept to exemplify Kent's humanity. But hoo boy, his personality was kind of all over the place. He's a bit jokier than I'm used to. Don't get me wrong, Soup should have some sense of humor, but here it often felt out of place for him, like teasing people about their grammar. Though, hey, it could have been worse for these guys. They could have instead been chided by Harlan Ellison.
What if like, were used in like its proper grammatical form, and not like as a conversational pause like every third like word?
Then you have Cal threatening to implant someone's gun in their gullet. Though if he had gone through with it, a medical team in Metropolis would have made it into the Guinness World Records for most unique colonoscopy. Then he mentions how much better he is, the kind of attitude you know Luthor would gladly exploit, even if it was said to an invading army. Almost makes me wonder about when he saved that family and this exchange. One kid is amazed, asking if he's Superman, and that's so cool, and he responds that he is Superman, and it is cool. I know that's not meant as an indicator of what he thinks of himself, but there are moments where he seems too smarmy and egotistical for my taste, like he's more immature than he should be, and really trying to appear cool. And I gotta say, decking Darkseid like that felt pretty reckless, given, well, it's Darkseid! There could be some context I'm missing from stories before this, but it felt like Clark was resorting to some tough guy act, do what I say or I'll beat you up kind of attitude, when he would have to know that doesn't work on someone like the ruler of Apocalypse. Darkseid doesn't scare easy, if at all. Think of it this way, folks. Darkseid is a hornet's nest, and Superman is a child with a rock and no common sense. Though in fairness, I can't say it was the smartest idea for Calabac and the rest of them to just storm in, lasers blasting. I get they feel they can do whatever they want, that whole regal villainy vibe Darkseid has, but you would think that they'd have realized marching in and destroying stuff is a surefire way to attract superheroic attention. If it was meant as a search party, why not send some trained scouts to look around, and only send word and not engage if they spot Doomsday? Heck, since they already clearly deduced that the monster went somewhere else first, why not use some alien tech to scan the planet on the sly, or leave detectors around, without causing a huge mess that Doomsday might pick up on? In concept, Soup's encountering Steppenwolf or whoever to set up another clash with Doomsday in later issues is perfectly fine, but I guess they needed a pretext to have a big fight scene in this issue. Otherwise the cover would have felt like a complete lie. The art is pretty good. I couldn't find any real problems there. Matter of fact, expressions from Grace and body language from Julio really helped sell that they knew more than they were telling Clark, which is a great detail to add, and the overall pacing was done very well. While not an entirely terrible story or kickoff to a new writer's run, I honestly didn't feel this was as strong a start as Austin's first arc on Uncanny X-Men, though to be fair, I am looking at one issue instead of 3. How Superman behaved may seem off-putting to some, and while I'm sure there are readers who think the Man of Steel should make graphic threats and be boastful to his enemies, I don't think it worked so well here. I'm the Angry Spork, and man, have I got issues.